Hello everyone, it's IT Cho here. Today I want to talk about PriSecDBAPI intro and problem statements. Do you know that there are people who own a server? Do you know that it's possible to create database and host database for others and make a profit with it? The users of this database typically have waiters or APIs to access their created database. This is called DBAAS, Database as a Service. Provider gets servers, then creates waiters, create database and hosts it for others. DBAAS in short is a PAAS, Platform as a Service if we are referring to cloud. Common examples of DBAAS consist of Google's Firebase, Cosmos DB, DynamoDB. No matter what DBAAS provider seeks, they will use NoSQL or SQL DBMS as their core. The current listed examples use NoSQL to provide DBAAS services. It is also possible to use SQL to provide DBAAS services. Since this video is the first video to talk about PriSecDBAPI, which is the project that I recently restarted, I hope people can understand that it will not be as good as these listed services as they are from big players that have lots of teams. For now or a long time, I will perhaps always be a one-man army. The uniqueness in PriSecDBAPI is that it addresses on these issues by using MySQL. If you want DBAAS that has confidentiality to an extent and you would want to conceal your data from prying eyes, then perhaps PriSecDBAPI is the one you are looking for. The first problem is that typical DBAAS does not have encryption on data at rest or storage data. Developers and humans are more familiar with non-encrypted data, even though these data are susceptible to prying eyes. One of the potential reasons that typical DBAAS do not have encryption on data at rest is developer and company considerations. If let's say the company and developer uses Python as their go-to language, the encryption library may be coded in C or C++. They may not have a helper library in Python which allows them to directly use the encryption library features. There may be many more reasons to not have encryption on data at rest, but this reason is the one I can think of at the moment. The second problem is any DBAAS encryption and decryption relies on private key or secret key to decrypt. I do not object on this method as long as they are using a method similar to Sodium's sealed box. However, in most cases, when encryption was put on data at rest, private key and secret key was mainly used to decrypt on service provider side, which makes the whole confidentiality point useless. If it involves with secret key, common ways of creating secret key was coming from passwords. In short, passwords and passphrase have a lot of issues and they are also susceptible to both keyloggers and memory disclosure attacks. I will put past videos as links if I can find them on this platform. The third problem is DBAAS does not provide any means to lock or unlock the client's DB accounts. This is something that I knew from MySQL. In short, locking account means that the database users are prohibited in logging into their account to do CIOD operations, and unlocking account means the exact reverse of locking account. The fourth problem is DBAAS does not provide any means to conceal the actual credentials of client's DB account. This can be best described with W3 Schools, PHP, and MySQL example. In real-life scenario, developers use the same method like what has been described by W3 Schools. The example is using PHP in MySQL, but this can extend to a lot of database connection in any application. From the habit and example of W3 Schools, it is not hard to not know that database credentials often do not get concealed. This may introduce potential insider threats within the company regardless of scale. The fifth problem is DBAAS allows customization in exchange for security, SQL injection. This again can be illustrated with two diagrams. First diagram is from W3 Schools doing CIOD operations. Second diagram is the actual way of doing CIOD operations to prevent SQL injection. Although the first diagram is not secure against SQL injection, but due to its ease of use, most developers will use the first method demonstrated in it. It has great flexibility that comes with great security costs. The method shown in the second diagram is to an extent secure against SQL injection. Parameterize parameters and prepare statements, but it is not that easy to use compared to the method shown in the first diagram. There may be more problem statements to cover, but these are the problem statements that I can think of at the moment. With this sets a foundation to later videos as I restarted my PriSecDBAPI open source DBAAS project. That's all. Thank you very much.